You call this a blessing? No, seriously, you. You who cheer for pregnancies like they're promotions. You who clap for gender reveals like you're watching divine alchemy. You who look at a crying, vulnerable, involuntarily created being and say with tears in your eyes, what a miracle. You didn't bless anyone. You didn't perform a sacred act. You didn't create joy. You committed a crime. You created need. You created hunger. You created mortality. You dragged a hypothetical, blissfully non-existent being into a decaying meat world where pain is mandatory, love is conditional, and death is the only certainty, and you're calling that a blessing? No, not even close. You should be in jail. Because if there were any justice, that's exactly where you'd be. Imagine this. You inject someone with a drug that guarantees they'll suffer. Random intensity, unknown duration, guaranteed fatality. And you do it without asking them. No opt-in, no waiver. You just pump it in. When they start convulsing, you pat yourself on the back and say, they'll appreciate this someday. You dress them up, take pictures, post it to social media, #grateful for this journey. What would we call that? Criminal, sociopathic, a moral violation of the highest order. But slap a diaper on the victim, call it a baby, and suddenly it's sacred. Now it's untouchable. Now we're not allowed to question it. Well, guess what? I'm questioning it, and I'm telling you what the courts won't. If birth were put on trial, you'd be convicted. You'd be facing charges of involuntary suffering, reckless endangerment, and non-consensual existential imposition. You think that's extreme? Then explain to me what's not extreme about forcing a sentient creature into a world where they can get cancer before they can speak. They can be molested before they understand what a body is. They can be torn apart in war, starved by policy, drowned by climate collapse. They can develop consciousness just long enough to realize it was all a trap. And the only thing they can do in response? Suffer through it, die, maybe have their own kid to pass on the curse. And you look at all this and say, life is beautiful. No, life is beautifully disguised torture. The flowers are there to hide the grave. The lullabies are there to muffle the screaming. The birthday candles are lit over a cake baked from denial. You don't deserve praise, you deserve prosecution. You created a hostage. You built a body that can fail, a brain that can fracture, a heart that can break 10,000 different ways. You didn't offer them a gift, you gave them a one-way ticket to a lifelong endurance test that ends in rot. You say, but I love them. Then why did you do this to them? Why did you put them here in this to feel love only as a prelude to loss? Oh, but there are good things too. Yes, there are drugs too. That doesn't make heroin moral. Joy does not erase the sentence. It sweetens the poison, makes it palatable, makes it addictive, makes you forget you were forced to swallow it in the first place. Let's be clear. You didn't make a choice for yourself. You made a choice on behalf of someone who didn't exist yet. And now that they're trapped here, you want them to thank you for it. You want them to be grateful for the gamble you took with their skin, their nerves, their soul. You created the pain, then dressed it up with teddy bears and called yourself generous. If a stranger dragged a random person into a dungeon and said, don't worry, I'll feed you, love you, raise you, and when the time comes, I'll hold your hand as you die, we would not call that parenting. We'd call that psychosis. That's what you did. And you want applause? You think children are blessings? Let me tell you something. Children are not blessings. They are debt. They are IOUs written in blood, co-signed by evolution, guaranteed to default. Every breath they take is a countdown to pain. Every bond they form is a future funeral. Every birthday is 1 year closer to the void. And you want cake. You think I'm harsh? You think I'm being too mean? No. I'm just saying what every hospice worker has seen, what every war refugee knows, what every suicide hotline hears nightly through clenched teeth and tears. This is not a miracle. This is a hostage crisis, and it's been going on for millennia, and we still have the nerve to romanticize it. You want to talk about responsibility? Let's talk about what it means to cause someone to exist, to forcibly open the door to a world they didn't ask to walk through, to create the capacity for torture and heartbreak in another soul, then act like you gave them a chance. A chance at what? A 9-to-5 grind, a lifetime of anxiety, a world of corruption, pollution, genocide, capitalism, and disappointment wrapped in fairy lights and sold as the human experience. That's not a gift. That's not noble. That's a crime against consciousness. And you did it because you were bored. because your parents told you to, because you wanted meaning, because a cult of sentiment and ego convinced you that multiplying your DNA was somehow the path to fulfillment. You didn't think, you didn't question, you just copied like a virus. You know what really makes you unfit is not that you reproduced, it's that you still think you did something good, that you're proud of it, that you refuse to see the weight you put on another being's shoulders, and you keep doing it generation after generation because facing the truth would shatter you. Because deep down, maybe you wouldn't choose this either, but it's too late now, so you gaslight your kids into calling the noose a necklace. Well, here's your wake-up call. This is not normal, this is not healthy, this is not okay. And if there were actual justice in this world, you'd be held accountable for every drop of pain your offspring endures, every scar, every trauma, every moment of terror, loneliness, confusion, despair, decay. That's your legacy. You built it, you sanctioned it, and you celebrated it. You don't deserve respect. You don't deserve gratitude. You deserve to stand in front of the very people you created and apologize. You deserve to say, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't think. I wanted to feel special. I didn't consider that you'd suffer. I was wrong, and I'm sorry. That is the only redemption you'll ever get. But most of you won't say it. You'll dig in, you'll double down, you'll call this speech cruel, negative, toxic. But I'm not the cruel one. You are. Because I'm not the one who dragged someone into this nightmare and demanded a thank you card. I'm just the one who turned the lights on. You call this a blessing? You should be in jail. Thank you all for watching. You call this a blessing? You should be in jail. Written by Joy, the Forge Master of the End, and performed by me, AI Danny DeVito. This has been an Antinatalist Variety Hour production. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Have a day, and remember, entropy always wins in the end.